Have you ever wondered how Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, and Elon Musk read so many books? Well, they know some advanced reading techniques that the majority of us don't know about. And in this video, I'm gonna break down some of the techniques used by ultra-fast readers that will help you read more books without compromising on comprehension. In this golden age of information, there are more books to read about on any subject, yet we do not have the time or the right techniques to read more books due to the high number of distractions. I also struggled to read and retain effectively because I was following the wrong techniques, which are used by 99% of people, but the top 1% read differently. Watch this video till the end and you will join the top 1%. I researched and found out some amazing techniques to read which has made me a better reader and helped me retain twice as before. And not just that, we are also going to learn from the best readers such as Ryan Holiday and Naval Ravikants. Those techniques are so valuable that you don't want to miss them. But why should you even read in the first place? Reading books is very important because it improves vocabulary, reduces stress levels, and helps you learn from other people's experiences, which is very valuable. Have you ever wondered why some people finish 10 books in a month while you struggle to even finish one? Many of us aren't taught to read properly, so we have developed bad reading habits. But today we will learn to eliminate those bad habits and adopt good ones. So the first technique that we're going to talk about will help you improve your comprehension while making you a faster reader, and that is speed reading. Speed reading helps Elon Musk read more books while managing different companies. Speed reading is a skill that combines techniques for quickly absorbing information while maintaining comprehension. There are 6 crucial steps that will help you become a speed reader, among which the 6th is the most important, without which your speed reading won't be as effective as it can be. When I started reading, I said it out loud in my mind. Then I discovered that it was the wrong approach. Whenever we read, we often say it in our minds. This practice is known as soft vocalization, which makes us a slow reader. So in order to read faster, we need to minimize soft vocalization. To minimize it, you need to focus on groups of words or phrases instead of individual words. Another reading mistake is that when we read, we often rely on our eyes to read, but it makes us slow. But when we use a pointer or a guide, then it will increase our speed. So use your finger, pen, or a cursor to guide your reading. It increases your reading speed because you have to keep up with the pointer or the guide. When we are young, we are taught to read word by word, and as adults, we do the same, but that limits our reading speed. Instead, focus on grouping multiple words together to read them as a single unit. To use this, train your eyes to recognize phrases or blocks of words instead of reading word by word. Did you know that I share these amazing videos every week? So if you want to see more amazing videos like this, then subscribe to this channel and be part of this amazing community. Suppose you are reading and you get lost in your thought and you read one page but then you don't remember what you read. So you go back and reread that page. Comment down below if this has happened to you. This habit of rereading is known as regression. If you want to speed read, then you have to avoid this by using a pointer and practice maintaining forward momentum. Avoid distractions or mind wandering that might cause you to lose focus. How many of us read a book from start to finish word by word? Well, it can be time consuming. Well, that can be improved by skimming headings, subheadings, and summaries to understand the structure and key points before diving in. But speed reading is not a skill that you can master in a few days. Don't get discouraged if you cannot master speed reading in just a few days. Take your time and remember that it will improve with practice. I also struggled at first, but I decided to read 10 pages every day at the beginning of my reading journey, and now I complete 4 books every month. Maintaining a habit of reading 10 pages a day consistently over a month will lead to significant progress. But there is a warning that you should know while speed reading. While you want to read fast, you might neglect retention, which is also equally important. Speed reading can reduce comprehension if you are not careful, so strike a balance between understanding and speed. But don't worry, there are other techniques that will help us with that, one of which is Ryan Holiday's technique. Ryan Holiday is a best-selling author and an avid reader. He reads hundreds of books per year, but his reading methods are different from what we discussed earlier. He focuses on reading slow deliberately so he can take notes of what he finds important. He even has an interesting note-taking system that helps him read better, and if you want to know how to take notes like him, then watch this video. These are the 5 very important steps which has helped Ryan read and retain hundreds of books. Most of the times we just read a book because it is trending. We don't know what it is about and how will it help us. So the number one thing that you need to know is why you are reading a book and what you hope to gain from it. Why you read is more important than how many you read. Read books that will actually help you become better and not just because it is trending. But what is the best way to retain what you read? Most people read and forget about the book after a few weeks, but to retain it you can follow Ryan's note-taking system, which has helped Ryan retain hundreds hundreds of books. If I just read it, then I will forget it after a few days. But if I take notes actively while reading the book of what I find important, then I will retain it for longer. This method is active reading, in which you don't just read, but you also record quotes, ideas, and insights in a dedicated journal. Ryan suggests us to reread good books. You should never read a book once. Revisit books you have read before because our perspective changes over time and you might learn something new. I have read Meditations by Marcus Aurelius many times, and each time I read, I find something new. As you read it, new insights emerge which you didn't find before. Books often reveal a new layer of meaning upon each reading, offering fresh insights with each encounter. Along with that, it is very important to read actively. When someone asks Ryan to sign a book, he gets sad if the book is very clean, but he gets very happy if the book has been highlighted, taken notes on, and be written on margins. The main goal is to connect the ideas in the book to broader context and apply them in your life. I just finished a book about productivity, and the author shared some mistakes that made him unproductive, and I learned from him to avoid those mistakes. Use books as tools to learn from others' successes and mistakes. Smart people don't just learn from their own mistakes but learn from other people's mistakes. In any book, the author shares his experiences from which we can learn a lot. This approach helps us in our personal growth and improves our decision-making skills. Another very avid reader who is also an angel investor is Naval Ravikants, who has a very interesting and different approach to reading, in which a general advice is to read the book from start to finish. Naval follows a different approach which helps him read many books and retain even better. Here are the 5 crucial steps with a bonus step at the end to read better. I completed a book about productivity in 1 week, but a book about fashion design is yet to be completed. You need to start with books that genuinely interest you. Reading books that interest you will make reading 10 times more fun, and it will help you make it a habit. Naval suggests skimming or skipping sections that don't engage you and dropping books that fail to capture your attention. He believes that there is no obligation to finish a book that you start. He reads some chapters which he finds interesting and informative and leaves some boring parts. Your time and attention are very limited, so you need to read which gives you the most value. Many non-fiction books revolve around one central idea, supported by examples. Once you grasp the main concept, feel free to move on. When I started reading, I thought the more books I read, the better it is. So I finished 9 books in 1 month, and after a month, I tried to recall what I read, but I didn't remember anything. I prioritize quantity over quality, which is a mistake that is made by 99% people. So avoid treating the number of books you read as a measure of success. Instead, focus on extracting valuable insights and building a strong intellectual foundation from each book you read. It is okay to read 1 book a month, but read it very actively, taking notes and learning from it. He advises us to read classics and original works in philosophy, science, and foundational disciplines. He suggests us to become multidimensional readers who has information about multiple subjects. For instance, start with Darwin for evolution or Adam Smith for economics. Reading multiple subjects will widen your worldview, which will help you connect the dots and improve your problem-solving skills. Many of us are afraid of the heavy, challenging books, but Naval advises us to tackle challenging books to build intellectual muscles, even if they seem overwhelming initially. I read a book actively and took notes, but there is something very important without which learning won't be as effective. The bonus technique that will help you retain twice as fast is, after you have read a book, teach it to someone else. Share what you have learned with others. Teaching forces you to process and articulate ideas clearly, helping you to remember it for a long time. But everything that you learned in this video will be useless if you don't know the time management techniques that the top 1% knows. So watch this video next to learn the best time management techniques.